sad and shocking story took place over the weekend. I want to say news, not story. Okay. Very tragic and shocking news took place over the weekend. We all heard that actor Paul Walker died in a car crash. He was 40 years old. Really tragic details. So this took place on Saturday at around 3:30 in the afternoon, and this was in Santa Clarita, and Paul was there for his charity event. Right. And he was trying to raise funds for disaster relief victims of the Philippines, and he and Roger Rodas, who are co-owners of the shop that hosted the event, as well as both race car drivers for the shop's team, decided to take out the 2005 GT Porsche Carrera. And this car is known within the racing community. It's known as being a difficult car, a fast car. And so they took this car out that was stored in their shop, and they were gone for about 20 minutes, and people heard the explosion, the people that were at the event. This is so sad. And I guess the crash took place just about 500 yards from the event, and so people rushed to what they heard the explosion was, and they saw that the car was engulfed in flames. Apparently, Paul Walker's childhood friend ran out and tried to extinguish the flames. Ugh. And his daughter, Paul Walker's daughter, who's 15, Meadow, she was at the event. They shielded her from the wreckage. Oh. And Roger Rodas' kids were also at the event. Apparently, his son ran out and tried to also extinguish the flames. And the police are still investigating the accident. They do know that they hit a tree. They do know that they hit a pole, and then the car engulfed in flames. They believe that speed was a factor. But the sources close to the shop, according to TMZ just this morning, are reporting that there could have been a malfunction with the car because they saw that there was steering liquid fluid that was kind of like a trailed out before the skid marks started, suggesting that the steering wheel malfunctioned. So we don't know all the details yet. Such a tragic story. Of course, Hollywood was buzzing all weekend. We saw it on social media. The news broke on social media. And I don't even know where to begin with this. This is obviously going to be raw, unedited, no 5 words or less. So what were your guys' reaction when you heard the news?
Personally, I thought it was a hoax.
Yes.
Because all the time, what happens with social media is people will pick someone, whether it's someone that you know from, and just will say that they're dead. And so what you have to do is you have to wait for hours. I was at a football game, and I saw your tweet about it, and I was like, oh my, I hope this is not true. Not true. And you have to wait. You have to go by TMZ. I went to TMZ's link, and that link was down.
Yes, I saw that too.
So I thought,
is TMZ the qualifier? Is it true?
I would just assume that TMZ would have photos.
Oh, God.
Right.
And that's what I would, hope would confirm.
And they're the ones
not going to confirm it.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So.
And they broke it. TMZ is the one that I saw the very first tweet about it.
No, his official Twitter, Paul Walker's official Twitter, I think broke it because.
No, that was the confirmation.
Oh.
I don't think, no.
I thought it was the thing that said it because people were retweeting that before I saw the TMZ thing.
Oh, really?
But I don't
At what
know.
time? I didn't see that.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
I just saw it.
Okay, because I know initially, which I think Brett brings up such a crazy point because we live in such a world now where social media news does break out so fast and everybody's, scrambling to try and get the first story that sometimes fact checking is left out. And so you can fall victim to these internet hoaxes. So I was going back and forth, teetering back and forth too. Is this real? Is it not? Hoping, praying that it wasn't real. And then I saw Jenny Hutt, who was just on the show. Her brother is really close with Paul's reps, and he reached out to them and tweeted he got confirmation, and then within minutes, his reps gave confirmation that Paul indeed had passed. And I want to also talk about Roger Rodas too, because both of them lost their life that day. But where were you?
I was with my kids, actually. Went and saw a movie, and I found out about it. And obviously, like you said, having the daughter be there, and obviously I have children, and it just takes your breath away. I mean, like you said, first of all, once you find out that it's not a hoax and that it's true, and then you find out that these children are there experiencing their parents' tragic passing. I mean, not a quick passing. I mean, well, horribly quick passing, but to see it that graphically, it broke my heart. And anytime anybody gets swept away like that fast, it's very sad.
Yeah, and Paul Walker was really beloved. I mean, we all hear from people that have met him or interviewed him or worked with him say that this is somebody that was not swept up by the whole Hollywood fame game, that was really into being charitable. I heard one story when I was, looking up just all the research from the accident. There's a couple that has come out, I guess a decade ago when he was in Santa Barbara, because he lives in Santa Barbara part of the year. They were out, and it was a young soldier that was back from Iraq, and Paul Walker was in a jewelry store and overheard them talking about engagement rings and saying that it's too expensive. I'm getting worked up just because he's such a kind soul. And so Paul saw the ring, I think it was $10,000, and the couple was in there. Paul went to the manager and said, here's my credit card information, buy it for them, and then left. And then the couple had the ring. I mean, this is somebody that is just such a caring person. And, Roger Rodas, too, who's a former race car driver, also known for being very philanthropic and kind. And it's crazy, too, the irony. A lot of people are talking about the irony that both of them.
Well, in a speeding accident.
Yes, in a speeding accident, or maybe it was a malfunction. But regardless, these are experts. Paul was also, I used to cover him racing in Time Attack at the Versus Network. He would race in the Time Attack series, and then both of them raced for their shop's race team, and Roger was a well-known racer. So that's the irony. And of course, the Fast and the Furious franchise as well. So, but do some of these experts, I know that we're all guilty of speeding, but do some of these experts sometimes think that they're invincible?
Sure. I think you can't help it. I mean, I don't know if you game at all, you drive the little race car driving things on Xbox. If I play that too long, too long, I'm a reckless driver.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine
I remember seeing
being on a movie set.
Star Trek.
Right.
And when I left, I felt like my car was a spaceship.
Totally.
Just like there was a part of it.
Yeah.
And that was 2 hours.
Yeah.
Not a 7-movie franchise.
Right.
So I got to believe, and being a race car driver on top of that,
Right.
you feel like you're, untouchable.
I feel like we all kind of feel that way, not that we're all professional drivers or anything, but I just when I had heard the story a couple hours before, I had just seen a huge car accident and this young girl had flipped her car over. And so after hearing about Paul Walker, I was like, okay, just really, really be careful.
You're
just be
right.
so careful, because you never know when it's going to be over, and that made me really upset, but also I feel like we all kind of feel like we're a little bit invincible. We need to be really, really careful.
Especially when we get behind the wheel.
A car is a weapon.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a humbling reminder, just to be reminded that that machinery that you're behind can take your life in an instant, even when you're the best of the best driver. And it's because you don't know if the cars can malfunction or if something else comes in the road or you're defensively driving.
Or if you're texting or talking on a telephone or putting on your makeup. We
Yeah.
add all those
And I've done
elements.
all those things.
Right.
But
I put
why
on
do we
makeup all
feel
the time.
invincible? Why do we feel invincible?
It doesn't. I think what happens is you've driven so much.
Yeah.
And when you first start doing anything at all, you take more care to pay attention to every aspect of it, but then it becomes second nature. I mean, I drive with my knees when I just don't even want to put my hands on the wheel.
Well, how many times have you driven all the way past 4 exits and all of a sudden you're over the hill and you've missed your exit
Right.
4 exits ago because you weren't present?
You go in
You weren't present,
autopilot.
exactly.
Yes.
It's difficult. You just have to take extra care, and these kinds of things happen every so often and remind you that you need to be more careful, and you will be more careful. And then there might be that time when you zone out again, and hopefully it's not the story about you that reminds other people.
Oh my gosh,
that
that's
you need to pay more attention.
so true. I my heart just breaks for their families.
It's just so sad because I like to think the type. If you're casting Paul Walker for a movie, the reason that you cast him is he just seems like the captain of the team.
Yeah.
You know, and to me, when there was a Paul Walker movie, it would always be he was the captain of the team that stuck up for the nerd.
Yeah.
And that's what always resonated, and he was just had a kind, steady energy that you
Humble,
couldn't help but look up to.
genuine.
Like he was the captain of the team, and it was a good team, and this is sad.
That's a
really
really
sweet,
no.
Brett.
That's a great analogy, and
Yeah.
also the outpour on social media, not only from fans but from celebrities, was heart-wrenching, because these are some of them, working with him are his friends, and reading Tyrese Gibson's tweets and Instagrams. Oh my gosh. I mean, I wish that I brought it with me, but they're long. Just basically communicating his feelings instantaneously, no holds barred, for all to see, and it brought tears to my eyes. And then he went to the wreckage. He went to the wreckage, to the memorial where some of the fans have gathered, and he took a piece of the wreckage with him to have his dear friend's energy with him. It's so sad. And to think that, you know, yes, people die all the time, but people definitely resonated. I think that, like you pointed out, Paul Walker is just a great guy, and people were huge fans of him. And like you said too, Jordan, they're leaving behind their children. And it's just, we need to be reminded, first of all, prayers and condolences to friends and family, but we do need to be reminded that our cars that we're in every single day are death traps. So let's just be mindful of that. And yeah, and again, our deepest condolences to both Roger Rodas' family. He leaves behind a wife and 2 kids. And of course, we all know that Paul leaves behind his 15-year-old daughter, Meadow. So please, Pop Trigger fans out there, let us know all of your thoughts in the comment section below and your condolences for both Roger and Paul Walker. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you all next time.